I'm Alex Spatdorf, and you're watching Get Shit Done, the place where we're taking female entrepreneurs from inspiration to activation by giving you access to the resources you need to grow your company on your own terms. Now, something that happens very often in the startup community are co-founder breakups, but it is something that we do not talk about enough. It is very silent, and it is unfortunate because when we're silent, we suffer. And I know this firsthand because I've gone through 2 co-founder breakups. The first co-founder breakup was with my friend. She was my roommate and my business partner. Then the company failed and we didn't talk for years, y'all. I mean, we've talked now. That was like back in the day. Love you, boo. However, in my last co-founder breakup, that's something that I did not talk about in this interview. I actually focused it mostly on my guest, who is an incredible woman, Charde. And there's a reason for that, because at the time, her episode was aired months ago. At the time, I can honestly say to you, I was not over that founder breakup. Like, it was rough for me, and I ain't gonna bullshit y'all. That was rough. And if I put anything out, because I truly believe that what you put out in this world, you gonna get back in return. That's why I put out love, because I want that back. I'm not on OBS, and I also respect what we built. So one day I will share with y'all that experience, because I think it's important for us not to be silent. However, it will be with love. That's why I had my guest today, who is such an incredibly brave woman who is willing to share her co-founder breakup story, because so many of us go through it and we don't talk about it. So this episode is going to be so great for you if you've either gone through it, are going through it, or if you're considering a co-founder, because this idea about business just being business and startups is bullshit. Let's be real, it's personal, because you spend the majority of your time with your co-founders. You see them more than you're going to see your significant others, your family, your friends. It's personal. And we try to bullshit and say that it's not. It is. And we need to honor our humanity. And when we don't, we're dishonoring ourselves. We play in ourselves, okay? So if you want to learn how an incredibly brave female founder handled her co-founder breakup, stay tuned. Charde Smith is the founder and CEO of Jolie Beauty, a beauty concierge service bringing the luxury and quality of an upscale beauty studio to your home, office, or hotel in New York City. After spending over 10 years in the industry as a makeup artist and hairstylist, Charde decided to bring the convenience of beauty services to her customers at a touch of a button, because that's where she saw the future of beauty heading. Jolie Beauty did start with a co-founder, but unfortunately, the relationship between her and Charde didn't end so well, resulting in a founder breakup, which many founders experience, but not many of us discuss it publicly due to shame, fear, or because it just hurts too much. Charde was brave enough to come on Get Shit Done to share her story and how she dealt with her co-founder breakup. What is Jolie and why did you start it?
So Jolie is a mobile beauty service. Right now it's a mobile beauty service that just caters to women in the city that need hair and makeup done. So we come to you. We come to your home, your office, or your hotel, and we get you ready for your event or anything. We also do bridal. We do braid bars, really fun, cool events, that we do. So yeah, Jolie is all about beauty.
So then why did you start it? How did you guys start it?
So I actually wasn't the the founder of Jolie Beauty Bar. That was the salon that I had that was in the East Village. I actually came in as a stylist, and my former business partner had started with someone else. And I actually walked in and I was like, wow, if I were to ever open up a salon, this would be the thing. This would be exactly what I would do. So a little while after I started with them, they actually broke up. But like it was one of those things. Just like it just didn't work. They thought it, want the former business partner like. It was just like wasn't what I signed up for. The first two. So one of them split, and then after she left, like I sort of just like stepped up into the role, and I made a few changes, and I was just like, I think that it'll be really great if we just really focus on like making women feel better about themselves. I feel like in the day and age of YouTube, which I love that it's opened up a lot of women to really have the conversation about makeup and wear more makeup. It's also making them very insecure about, why can't I look like that? Why can't I look like, so,
because that took like 40 minutes, which I don't
in front of it, like a ring light makes everything better.
Ring lights,
Ring lights make everything better.
Real.
So it's just one of those things of like, I wanted to really, like, of course beauty, but I wanted to just add a little touch of, I hate saying women empowerment because it's been so overused right now, but that was really what it was. And so I was in the salon for about almost 2 years, and we really made a lot of changes. We were the #1 finishing service salon in New York City. We were featured in, Vogue Germany. We were featured in, like we were Time Out's, most recommended, 2017. So it was going really good. So, and then it just didn't go good, like I think when you enter something into with a business partner, it's super tough because it is like a marriage. You're really like, you spend every day with them. And a lot of time, and even when you're not with them, you're with them because you're like texting, you're talking about the business, and it's like, as an entrepreneur, like you're never off.
Oh no, I tell people this all the time. It's my last 2 co-founders from my last company. Like, we saw each other for over 5.5 years, more than we saw our own families and significant others and things like that. How did you and your co-founder meet?
So I actually knew the former founder of Jolie. We worked together. We actually all worked together at some point in Bloomingdale's, but I never met my former business partner, like just recent. So I came in because of the first former business partner.
Got it.
And
that one left.
And then that one left. And then, the partner that I, stayed with, we just got really close. We connected, and we, had the same idea for where we wanted Jolie to go. So that was really it. Like, it was kind of like love at first sight almost. Like, it was weird. It was just a weird situation. Like, yes, we were business partners, but it was like we were friends more so than anything.
That's really important when you're first starting. It's like, even when I met one of my co-founders from my last company, we were not friends when we started out, but I really loved the vision because I wasn't the original founder. I became a co-founder, but it was very on par. Like, the vision was on par with the first company I started, and I loved the direction of it. And so you just have those moments where just things mesh. And actually, sometimes I feel like having business partners who weren't originally friends makes it a little easier in some cases. So in the beginning, did you know that it was a good match? Because you're saying, we really clicked. The first founder or partner ended up splitting. Then you and the next co-founder or other co-founder ended up partnering up together. So what made you think this was a good fit? And then also, were there any red flags?
Not necessarily, because the first split, like, I was there when everything happened, and I saw both sides of the situation, and I just knew that, one just didn't want to do it anymore. And so it wasn't, that wasn't a red flag. Like, I don't know, coming into it, it wasn't, there wasn't any, we just like fell into it, and it was just like, we're not going to stop. Like, we're going to keep this going. Like, we both, we clicked because we both believed in it. We wanted women to feel the same way, it was different, but we had a different perspective, because I grew up with a mom who is also in the industry, and I grew up knowing how to do my hair, do my makeup, do all of those things, and she grew up with a mom who didn't. So she had to teach herself. So, you know, and then also like, I'm a makeup artist, I've worked in the industry, I do hair as well, you know, so I know that end of the industry, I know the retail aspect of it, and she's a consumer. So, you know, us coming together and really just going back and forth and talking about like what we can do for people from both ends. You know, we knew that we can do something great.
Got it. So like in any relationship, there's always that honeymoon period. So when was the moment where it felt like trouble was a brewing, you know, things were hitting the rocks, like when you knew like, okay, something's not right or not working here?
It happened like pretty abruptly.
I
was thinking everything was fine. I handled everything like within this, you know, in the salon. Like I did some of the marketing. I handled the clients. I handled the stylists and things like that. And she would handle a lot of like the bridal things and the money and all that stuff. Like, and you know, so I didn't really, I knew what was going on, but I didn't really know what was going on. Not as much as I should have. And so it was going fine. Like I knew that, you know, it was, you know, money, it's hard. Like we're in the East Village, like coming up with rent was tough.
Coming up with rent in New York is tough. It was the East Village for sure.
It's like we were making money, but we were just trying to figure out, like, you know, there was just a lot of different things that, you know, was a factor in, you know, when we made money, it just went to a lot of other things. And so that was tough. And she came to me one day, I was like, pretty much, it was in the summertime, I remember, because I was like, it's never busy in the summertime. And she came to me and was just like, we have no more money, like we're gonna have to close.
Wow, so you guys, just to get this clear, you guys had, your role was more customer facing, hers was more maybe operational finance? Okay.
So yeah, she was like, you know, we pretty much have a week to...
Wow.
So I was, you know, really, that was like the biggest blow to our relationship. Because I was just like we fought a lot over that, because I was just like, you know, I actually, you know, had my freelance career and I had my clients, I had my website, I was doing my own thing, like as Charde, the you know, makeup artist, hairstylist.
My brand.
And I gave up my brand to become Jolie, you know? And I did that, and hearing her say that and just be so like, that's it, we're done, we're closing the doors. I was just like, you weren't thinking about like the whole, you know, anything. It was just like, oh, Charde, you're great. You're a great artist. You'll be able to find something else to do. And it's like, no, like this is what I gave up everything for this, you know.
And something you said really stood out is that I gave up this to become. And I make this analogy all the time. I'm not a parent, but I can only imagine. You're a parent. Is like you give up so much to become this thing, and you do this for your company, and that's why it's such a blow.
It was
such a blow.
Literally, like I was blindsided. And so on top of that, there was a place, you know, that was not too far from us. It was like down the block from us. That you know, she connected with these people, and they were supposed to like bring in so much money because we're going to be like collaborating on events and things like that. And instead of that happening, it took her away from the business. So I was pretty much doing everything on my own. Like, you know, we went, and I was just like, okay, I literally went all the way up until I was packing up my stuff in the salon. Like I was like, okay, fine, like there's nothing more that we can do. And I was in there by myself, and I'm packing up my stuff, and I was just like sat down and I cried. And I was just like, I was like, I'm not ready to give this up. Like I'm not ready. And she came in and during me crying, and I just, you know, we got into like one of the biggest arguments that we've ever been in. And at the end of it, like we both got out what we needed to get out, because I just felt like she was so like done, you know, like she was just so, that's it, you know, I'm done type of thing. And I was holding all the emotion, and I think that upset me, because it's like I have a daughter to take care of. Like I gave up a lot, you know. And we were supposed to make this work, type of thing. And through all the anger, we kind of were able to get to a common ground. And I just looked at her and I said, give it till September. We can't judge how this is going to work in the summertime, because summer is the worst time. So I was like, if we can make it through that, then let's figure that out.
Okay.
And we did. Jolie stayed open, but I told the staff that I was just like, hey, it's just going to be, on a need basis. I pretty much was taking all the appointments on my own, because I wasn't paying myself, just taking little things here and there. Our relationship was hard.
What happened when September hit?
We just kept going. We started getting a little busier. We were getting weddings. It's normally so August, September is a pretty big wedding season.
Yeah.
So we're booking weddings. Things are happening.
Yeah. But what was her state like? Where were you guys at during that time in terms of
we were on and off. It was a hard situation because she was still involved in the other business, and we still got into a little tiffs over that.
It's rough on business.
Our relationship was tough during that time. All during that time, my dad passed away. So I think that sort of brought us back together somewhat, because she was really there for me.
Yeah.
For that. So I actually went to Bermuda for my birthday. That's where I'm from. And then I got back, and the next week, that was when. So I ended up having to go back to Bermuda. So that was hard, because we had to hire people, and and then so when I came back, I literally just blocked everything out and just went to work. I wasn't thinking about my mental health. I wasn't thinking about anything. During that, it was just
getting lost in it.
It was just getting lost in work, and it was getting busy. So I was just I don't have time to think of anything like that.
At what point did you guys decide it's time to move on?
We got back into the groove of things. Our relationship was okay, but it wasn't great. I think it was more okay on her end, and I was still am I gonna get blindsided again? Is something gonna happen? It was a lot. And then and that's one of the bit. I'm a control freak, so me being a control freak and then suffering from anxiety, I'm always thinking okay, what's gonna happen? I'm freaking out a little bit, and then it kind of amplified even with my dad passing away, because my dad passed away suddenly, in an accident. So now I'm that blindsided me. I'm thinking about when she blindsided me before that.
So you have an armor now.
I'm totally just okay. So I said to her, I was I think that we need to, I think it was around Christmas, after Christmas sometime. I was I think that we need to work on our relationship. I was we need to do something that is team building for us. Maybe go to counseling, maybe do a team, a relationship building, something. I was we need to do something. And I think that was before Christmas, because I ended up going away, she went away, and then we came back. And she decided to sign up for a group instead that was for her. And I was really upset about that, because I was here you are doing something else without telling me. And she said oh, I'm asking you because of such and such and such, and I was just but you already made the decision, so you're not really asking me. You're telling me that you're going to do this, but making it seem like you're asking me. So that was really another blow to the relationship, because I was just I don't feel that you're being truthful with me. I don't, I'm really tired of this thing of where you just keep blindsiding me with all of these things. So, she went and did that and came out with it helped her somewhat at first, it helped our relationship, because we were able to really talk about a lot of things that were really bothering us. She admitted that she didn't necessarily accept me in the business as much as she let off, which is super honest. And I think
that's great.
She had a hard time understanding, because what I do is very you see it my clients come in, I do my job, and they see it, you know, like even in the, you know, the comments and all of our reviews and things like that, like it's, you know, people see like me, you know, but then it was funny because I was saying the same thing for her because, you know, she was, you know, white, I'm black, and people call, you know, we're business owners, but they're always just looking at her as the business owner. So that, like, we both were having like some type of issue with
like worthiness thing. Yeah.
So when she told me that, I was like, you know, you're the backbone of this business. Like, this wouldn't run without you. Like, wouldn't run without either one of us, you know? So when she came out, you know, and then also after my dad passed away, I said to her, because she didn't have a great relationship at the time with her dad, and I said, you know, fix it, you know, because I don't want you to you know, that it's just, life is too short. Yeah. So through that program, it made her reconnect, and she took another trip to reconnect with her dad, and that I was like, okay, I was really supportive. I was like, you know what, do what you need to do to get it done, and then came back, and I think it was just like, I remember this because it was so, I went to, my cousin was actually having a baby shower, and that day was so stressful for me, but I went, and I went to the baby shower, and that was like the first time that I was at an event that I knew that my dad would have been to if he was alive. And I just was super emotional, went out and like totally like handled it in the wrong way by drinking. Woke up the next day to my business partner calling me, having her own breakdown, and about just saying like, I need to go to Chicago to do something and to get back to myself, and just pretty much just, and I'm sitting here like, I can't do this right now. Like, I've been so supportive of her and her journey through this, and I haven't thought about myself, and then this was like just the beginning of me really coping with like a lot of like my mental health issues, which a lot of like business owners, like a lot of women don't do, because we're like, I need to be there for everyone, and that's what I was doing.
So you guys are both dealing with your own inner turmoils, inner struggles at the same time, handling it differently, trying to get on the same page. And so she goes to Chicago, and at what point were you guys like, okay, let's call this quits?
When she came back.
Okay. So how did that discussion
She made the decision actually, because she was just like, you know, you have saying to me, you have been pretty much running Jolie and doing everything for like you. She's like, you are Jolie, and I just can't do this anymore. Like I can't. I came up with this epiphany, and I'm handing this to you.
Okay, so you guys ended up, you know, saying, okay, we're gonna call it quits. So like any breakup, you know, there is dividing of assets and things like that. So how did you guys handle that when she wanted to part ways?
I mean, it was pretty much like she just like grabbed like Jolie pretty much and just dropped it in my lap. Like, literally what she did.
There was no fight, no nothing.
There was no fight, no nothing, which was good and bad. But, you know, she literally, like, I had a day to process all of, not even, you know, like a second to process all of this. And then it just came to, I'm putting this bill in your name, that bill in your name, I'm putting all of this in your name, and I'm going to help you out as much as I can, but I'm going to be doing this and doing that. And it was just like, okay. And I'm, you know, I'm a single mom, I'm dealing with a loss, and I'm working, and I'm trying to keep this business afloat, and I'm just like, whoa, you know, it was a lot, and I had a lot of like breakdowns during that moment, because I'm like, how do I keep this going? Do I even want to keep this going? Do I want to do this?
So then how did you keep it going? So she parted ways, she basically gave it over to you, and said, you know, this is yours.
You've been doing it, and like now, like I'm literally
not gonna fight you on this. But that's tough, so now you have to take on everything. So how were you able to move forward? Because Jolie's still alive, it's thriving, you guys are doing well.
You know, we still had customers that we had to take care of, weddings and things like that we were going through, and I was just like, I didn't honestly like, and it's so crazy, like I'm thinking back to it, I don't remember. I just like
You just put your head
put
down.
my head down, and that's what I'm used to doing.
Yeah.
And just kept it going as much as I could. And, you know, I was like, and then I came to, you know, we got into a couple, you know, because I was just like, what you're doing right now is not, you know, very nice. Like, that's the simplest way I can put it, you know. You know, we're running a business that's, here's this word again, empowering women, and you're not really empowering me right now. You're like putting a lot of stuff on me. And, you know, what I said to her too, I was like, you know, you started this journey with, you know, this program that you're doing, and you've taken 3, maybe 4 vacations. I was like, I haven't taken time off since my dad passed. And I haven't dealt with any of that. And, you know, on top of that, like, my daughter came back from the summer, and I'm just like in there with her, and I'm dealing with, you know, depression, dealing with all of these things, you know, and I have this business just like dropped on me, and I have to come in and just put on a smiley face for all of my clients, because I've connected, like, my clients most of them became friends. Like, I'm still, you know, like, I just went into survival mode pretty much. And, you know, we had the salon, so I was trying to get the lease in my name. And it was so crazy. There was a moment a little before, like, I don't know if anyone's like spiritual or anything like that, but I only go seek things like that, like when it's in front of me. And I had someone do a reading, and she wrote like a long, and I read it twice. I read it once when everything was like right before everything was happening, and I read it again, and it was right as I was looking for people to help me. I needed a guarantor to, you know, have the building. And I read it, you know, and it was just saying, like, you know, you are going to look for other business partners because you don't feel like you can do this on your own, but like you need to know that you can. And the second time that I read it, I was just like, and I was looking for business partner, you know, I was looking for people to help me out, like family members, like, hey, can you co-sign with me? Can you do, like, let's keep this in the family, let's run it. And no one believed in me, which is what I felt at the time. So I just, like, I was fighting to keep that, because I'm like, I can do this. Like, this is like, literally, I'm like watching my hard-earned, like, what I worked for over the last 2 years, like, slip away, like, literally, like sand, like, slipping through my fingers. And I just, like, I sat home, cried again, and I was just like, I'm done. Like, I'm not gonna continue this. I was like, it was hard running a salon with 2 people. Like, there's no way I'm gonna be able to do this on my own. And just like that, I was like, what if I just do mobile? And I'm like, I've called like all of my clients, because in the meantime, when we were switching over the lease, we couldn't have access to the building. So I had to like say, oh, you know, the roof fell in, something, like, I'm gonna send someone to your house. And they were so excited about it. And I was like taking that into consideration and listening, and I was like, I'm just gonna go mobile. Like, why don't I just do that? And that's where Jolie Beauty Mobile came from.
Awesome. So
like,
then, where are you guys today? How's everything going?
It's not great. I tried to hold on to, and it was crazy because a lot of people, when we were still talking, was like, I don't understand how you were still talking to her. And I was just like, I don't know, like, we were friends, you know, like, and I was just trying to save that relationship. But a couple things happened, and, you know, that had to do with money. And I was just like, you know, I just don't like how she handled the situations. And, you know, there was a lot of times that I sacrificed a lot. And, you know, it was just, I was just like, you know what, you know, like, there's one, you know, last thing that happened as far as money is concerned. And, you know, there was still, like, we had a joint, like, we had the booking system. And there was like money, people were paying online, it was going to the old Jolie bank account. So there was like probably like hundreds of dollars going into this account, and that she's not using anymore. And There were things being deducted, and just like I understand, I just already like once I knew that was how, I was like that money is just gone, and I think it was just how she handled it. It was how like I asked, and there was no remorse, no hey I'm really sorry,
because that's
like,
what you wanted,
and that's all like.
Because for you,
and I think it was. I think honestly, like now that you say it, this whole time, like
you just want that.
I just wanted something.
You want to be seen, like for what you went through, and it's interesting because I wonder if it's the same for her too. Mm-hmm. You know, where even when I left my last company, there were a lot of conversations that did not happen. Yeah. And and still haven't happened, but I had to come to a place where it's just like, you know, I'm going to have compassion for the other people because who knows what they were going through. Yeah. I know what I went through and I know I had to step away. So I'm not even sure what that impact had, you know, on them and vice versa. So, it's interesting how much we all just want to be seen and understood. Yeah. And that's where a lot of our pain came from, because outside of that, I wonder if she would have just been like, hey, raising my hand, like, I see you. Yeah. I apologize, but I had to do this for me, and here's why. Yeah. You know? And I think that whole time, like, I held on to that. I'm like, I'm such a champion for, like, you doing what you have to do to make yourself better. I'm so there for you. But, like, don't ruin me in that, like, process, you know, because I don't know, I think I've always been that person that's always like tried to see the good in people and you know, always just trying to be there, like even despite myself, you know, and it just got to a point where, you know, it was just like, I was just like, this relationship, holding on to this relationship isn't doing anything for me. And sometimes people are around for a season.
Yeah.
So then your season now though is Charde and Jolie Beauty Mobile. So how is business today?
Business is slow and steady. Yeah. It's getting there. Yeah. It was a little tough with the transition period because
pivoting's hard.
People,
you got to go from basically zero.
Having to people think that we still have the business, and then having to tell people that we worked with what happened, and you know, just still being like cordial. You know, it's tough. It was tough for me emotionally. You know, it's a tough thing, and trying to run a business while dealing with, you know, issues like that.
That was only a few months ago.
Yeah, and you know, I came to the decision that right now I think it was best that my daughter lived in Florida with my mom and her dad, just because like this whole year, you know, after my dad passed, I didn't deal with his death. Yeah. Because I was working and I was dealing with other relationships and other situations.
Compartmentalized growth.
And I did, like, it's just one of those things. And the minute that this happened, and like I felt like I was at a good space with Jolie Mobile, that box just opened up, and it was just like, I haven't been good. Like I'm not good, you know, so.
But it's good that at least you acknowledge that.
Yeah, and I think I've been better with acknowledging like my feelings, and even going into situations like, you know, relationships, you know, with like partnerships within the business and things, just being very transparent with people. And I think that's like the biggest takeaway that I took from that.
Humanizes you, just being vulnerable and saying, hey, you know what, I'm not okay.
Yeah, and even that is tough for me because I'm not that person.
Same. Because I'm the same, where I'm like,
being vulnerable for me is like, I'm not in control, you know, so.
It's tough. It's really tough.
It was tough. So now, you know, I took a little trip, like,
good.
One thing I can say is like, always like take care of yourself.
Self-care is everything, and not like fake self-care. Yeah, like real self-care.
Not like the face mask and go to see
not Instagram self-care. Like get off Instagram and go take care of yourself.
No, I recommend like every business owner like needs to see a therapist, like needs to like take care of themselves, needs to like have something that like
is yours.
Yeah, because like we don't take care of ourselves.
We don't. Yeah. So like in any relationship, there is a grieving period. Like there's like things people say like it takes like half the time we were together to get over. I don't know if that's even true, but that was just a few months ago. This breakup was not that long ago. How has your grieving process been, and how how have you been dealing with it? Because it's definitely a process. It's not going to happen overnight. Obviously, there's still some pain there. But what are you doing to, one, take care of yourself and even get to a point where you could potentially forgive her?
Yeah, I'm just really just working. And it's so crazy because, like, you know, it seems like that's not a good way to do it.
Do you have a therapist?
Now I do.
Okay, that's work too.
And
okay.
So I, you know, just been doing more things that like make me happy.
Awesome.
And you know, I'm getting back to loving work again.
Yeah.
And, you know, it became a job at one point. It became like a chore.
Yeah.
And now I'm getting, you know, slowly getting back to like, you know, I, you know, got, you know, my LLC, and I was really excited about that, and, you know, just really like changed everything around, and like everything's in my name, and that's really empowering. It's like, okay, this is mine, like this is my thing.
You're doing it your way now.
Yeah, that's been the good and bad thing about this, is because, you know, having a business partner is easy because like, you have some,
it's easier. It
takes,
takes, because you're dividing it. Like, I totally understand.
You have someone to bounce ideas off of, you know, so doing this alone has been tough because all of the burden is on me.
Yeah.
You know, like hiring people, and it was so crazy because I hired someone the other day. Well, she was actually working with us in the salon before, and I just brought her on to the mobile team, and she just said something that really stuck with me. And she was just like, Charde, like, you're a woman of color creating a space for other women of color. And like, and she's like, that's amazing. And sometimes we're so like into work that we never really sit back and like even like, I grew up in a Caribbean household. Like, it's, you're never like, you don't stop. Like, you don't celebrate, you don't do anything.
Ooh,
and,
that's so,
you know, and
that's so interesting. I actually had this conversation with my coach the other day. She was like, Alex, you need to learn how to breathe through your celebrations. Because I will accomplish something and I do not give myself enough time to just say, for example, you just got your LLC, celebrate that, take a breath. You were featured in Forbes. Like, I did not celebrate myself for that feature. That's and amazing. Also putting myself out there. That took me a year to speak up about what I went through. But I was like, okay, what's the next thing that I have to do? And also like, okay. So it's like, I totally understand. It's like, you need to celebrate, breathe through those celebrations.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Because it's like, what you've done or what you're doing is needed, it's necessary, that's what you're called to do.
Yeah, and that's the thing, and you know, I'm just getting used to just saying, okay, like, wow, you've done it, you know, you're doing this, and people are looking up to you, people are, you know, just proud of you, people are, all of these things.
You never know who's watching.
And you never know. I was just like, you know, wow, that really made me sit back and just say, I'm doing this not just for me, you know, for my daughter, for, you know, women of color, for women. Yeah. You know, and we need this right now. We need this.